It's 12 o'clock. Hello, good afternoon, and welcome to the Starr Midday News. And coming up in the bulletin, regional coordinating councils, metropolitan assemblies, and other government agencies feel the pinch as strike by ClockSAG enters day 3. We are live to our reporters for more. Also in the bulletin, Ghanaian students on scholarship in Morocco resort to begging on the streets of the capital, Rabat, to fend for themselves as they continue to plead with government to pay them their stipends.
Have also not been paid our book and health allowance. They are not able to go to the hospital. We have students who have chronic diseases like asthma, which they are struggling to buy medication. Some of them have missed their exam because they don't have money to take transport to their schools.
Still on education, Ghana National Education Campaign Coalition calls on WAEC to beef up security when pupils sit for this year's BCE, scheduled for Monday, July 8. And later on, Chief Justice Gertrude Araba Isaba Tokonu expresses satisfaction over seeming feminization of the judiciary. Details of these stories and many more coming up shortly. Stay tuned in. Star News is coming to you live on Ultimate 106.9 FM in Kumasi, Empire 102.7 FM in Takrady, Cool 103.5 FM in Ho, Rage and Might FM in Tamale, Somali FM in Wa, My Star Radio in the USA. Also live on Facebook on Star 103.5 FM and on starfm.com.gh around the world. This is Star 103.5 FM. You're welcome once again to the Starr Midday News on Star 103.5 FM here in Accra. Let's get to the details of our stories now. We'll begin with issues relating to industrial action because the strike by ClockSAG is biting hard on some government agencies, specifically the regional coordinating councils and the various metropolitan assemblies, as well as other government agencies, are feeling the pinch as the strike enters day 3. ClockSAG is striking over government's failure to implement a new salary structure that was agreed upon in 2020. On Wednesday, ClockSAG members opted out of a scheduled meeting with the National Labour Commission, the Fair Wages and Salaries Commission, and the Ministries of Finance and Employment and Labour Relations. Now, the ongoing strike is significantly affecting government operations as most offices visited over the last couple of days have been deserted by members of the association. We'll go by the telephone line and speak to our Shanti Regional correspondent, Isaac Bediako Justice, to find out where exactly he has been and what he has found. Isaac, so where have you been and what did you observe?
Now, I've been to the Regional Coordinating Council. I've also been to the Kumasi Metropolitan Assembly. I've checked from the Swami Municipal Assembly. And the ClockSAG members there are not working because of the strike declared by their national leader. And so it has really affected government business from Monday up to date because the people are not at work. So that has been the situation in the areas that I have visited. It has also affected the economy around these government institutions because at the MMDCs, their office, that you see people who sell food there for the workers to buy. But because they are on strike, the kinky seller and the usual watches sellers are not at post at the moment, including those who sell ice kinky. And that has been the situation at the various MMDCs or offices or institutions that I visited this morning.
Typically, if they were not on strike, what would you have observed in the regional coordinating council as well as the Metropolitan Assembly?
The place would have been busy because people will be coming to do business with the government institutions. But because they are on security in particular, always people are there coming to inquire from the officers those who are seeking for permits to run their business, among other things. But because they are not working, the place is empty and it's not busy as usual.
All right, Isaac, thank you very much bringing us updates from the Ashanti region. Let's take you to the Western region. We will be speaking to Joseph Kobina Amwa in relation to what is happening in that particular region in relation to this. Is it the same as we have reported from the Ashanti region? This is still the Starr Midday News on Star 103.5 FM. We will be speaking to Joseph Kobina Amwa, who is our Western regional correspondent in relation to this issue. As you heard us did say earlier, ClockSAG yesterday opted out of a meeting that was scheduled between the Fair Wages and Salaries Commission, the Ministry for Labour, as well as the Ministry of Finance as well. ClockSAG decided to opt out of that meeting. They say that until their demands are met, they will not return to the negotiation table with government. As you do know, there was an agreement that was reached with government that the new salary structure will be implemented in 2023. However, that is yet to happen. You're still listening to the Starr Midday News on Star 103.5 FM. While we wait to connect with Joseph Kobina Amwa, we can go and listen to all right, so thankfully we've been joined over the telephone line now by Joseph Kobina Amwa from the Western region. Joseph, where exactly have you been and what did you observe?
Okay, I've been to the Efiakwesi Municipal Assembly, and what the observation is that actually everyone is at work. The place is actually dead silent. On a normal day, you get people going in and out, trying to use the services of the assembly for various activities. However, today it isn't so. When I got there, the main human entry to the facility, the reception is blocked. Also, most of the offices entry are locked, and there's no one entering or rushing to do any of the activities. No one is actually there, aside from the commercial part of the structure where the shop owners are running it. And also, on a normal day, you get some pockets going to the facility to try and sell their consumables to the staff of the assembly. However, today when I went there, a few of them were there and they were devastated that on a normal day they get to do some sales at the facility. However, today it isn't so, and so they have to find an alternative means of selling their goods today. I interacted with the PRO of the assembly off record, and he noted that they are not going to come to the office because when you come there, you're even going to be penalized by their union heads, and so there's no way they may sneak in to do any activity of the assembly. And he was hopeful and anticipating that probably by Monday there would be some amicable grounds between them and their employers to find some means of addressing their concerns, because they see this MOU has been standing for more than 1.5 years, and so they feel that it's sheer neglect. I interacted with the Western Regional Secretary of CloseTag earlier, and he intimated that until their concerns are addressed, they are not going to go back to work. And in the coming weeks, should government fail to address the concerns, we're all going to feel the repercussions, because almost all activities, if you are going to register your land, if you are going to register, find birth certificate, or need any services from any government establishment, then you would be found wanting. And so that's, I think, the observation here, and cut across all government institutions there in the West.
All right, thank you very much. Joseph Kobina Amwa bringing us the details from the Western region in relation to the impact of the strike by ClockSAG. Let's go over the telephone line and speak to local governance analyst, Dr. Frederick Odro, for more on this. Clearly, this strike by ClockSAG is being felt much harder at the various assemblies, as we have brought to you. Our reporters have indicated that the regional coordinating councils and metropolitan assemblies they've been hard hit by this strike by ClockSAG. Thank you so much, sir, for joining us here on the Starr Midday News.
Good afternoon.
Yes, and well, our reporters have told us about how the various municipal assemblies and regional coordinating councils have been deserted as ClockSAG embarks on the strike. Generally, ClockSAG's concern is that the agreement was for this new salary structure to have been implemented in 2023. That has not been done. They feel government is not taking them seriously. From where you sit, do you think that these issues of clock sack are being prioritized?
No, that doesn't look like that. I'm yet to hear the official side of the government. However, I mean, an agreement is an agreement. If two sides have come to an agreement, it's important that the MOU or even the agreement itself should be respected. Otherwise, it will be amounting to acting in bad faith on the part of the government. However, if for whatever reason the government has got challenges, they need to go back to the union and sit down with them, explaining their challenges. However, I also would like to appeal to the unions that engaging with government is not always about the hard stance. Oftentimes, some of the comments that come into the public domain from the union side, it tends to portend some level of animosity towards government. And I think it also is that is also not helping build a healthy labor government relation. It's important government respect the unions, but it's equally important the labor also are careful in the words they use, because oftentimes the labor unions, and particularly CLOCSAC, will come out with statements that are highly antagonistic. And I sometimes ask myself, should the government side also begin to use similar language? How will that portend for the labor front in this country? And I am pleading that there must be mutual respect and careful use of language in some of the communications, such a force that actually handles government business from the national level to the local level. You need to appreciate the kind of challenge their strike will pose for the running of the government machinery. And a lot of things are going to run to a standstill very soon. Oftentimes, when some of these activities begin, it may look as if not much is being lost. But over time, significant man hours or significant working hours are lost. And what could have been done a week ago may take a month to get us back on this on an even keel. So I would like to appeal to all sides to come together as quickly as possible to ensure that the governance machinery will not run to a standstill.
All right, sir. Thank you so much for speaking to us. We're grateful for your time. You had to speak to local governance analyst Dr. Frederick Odro. You're still listening to the Starr Midday News on Star 103.5 FM. Let's move on and talk about issues relating to education. We'll start off with Morocco, because there are some Ghanaians there that are stranded and are calling on government to immediately intervene, because they are facing numerous challenges as a result of that, specifically, like I did say, in Morocco. Well, the students there, Ghanaian students on scholarship in Morocco, have resorted to begging on the streets of the capital, Rabat, to fend for themselves. Now, these students have not been paid their stipends for at least 1 year. More than 20 students have been thrown out of their apartments for failing to make rent payment. Now, the situation has also affected their academics, as some have had to miss their exams because they could not afford bus fares. Now, one of the aggrieved students has been speaking to Star News.
91 Ghanaian students in Morocco for bachelor's degree, master's, and PhD. And the problem at hand is that the government has not paid us for 1 year now. We've not received our monthly stipends, which ranges from $250 to $450. The undergraduates take $250 and the postgraduate students take $450. We've not been paid for 1 year now. Not only that, we've also not been paid our book and health allowance. The book allowance is $360 annually, and the health allowance is $250 annually. We've not received that. So when students are ill, they are not able to go to the hospital. We have students who have chronic diseases like asthma, which they are struggling to buy medication for this past year now that we've not been paid. We have 25 students who have officially been thrown out of their apartments. Now we have students who are writing their exams, end of year exam, and they have to walk miles before they get to the classroom. Some of them have missed their exam because they don't have money to take transport to their schools, and they cannot bear the stress of walking to go and write the exam. That's the situation we have as at now. I quite remember last month, and I saw a guy begging for money. So he approached me, spoke English, and from his accent, I asked him, "Are you from Ghana?" And he told me, "Yes, he's from Ghana." And I said, "Why are you asking for money?" He said, "I don't have 5 dirhams, which in Ghana is about 3 cedis, to take bus to my home. I'm done with my exams and I can't walk. I'm tired." So this is the situation that we are facing now. Students have turned into beggars.
You had there a stranded Ghanaian student speaking to Star News. Still on education, the Ghana National Education Campaign Coalition is impressing upon the West Africa Examination Council (WAEC) to ensure strict monitoring and beef up security during this year's BCE. The exam over the years has been characterized by incidents of malpractices, among others, raising concerns about the integrity of the exam. Well, as pupils prepare for this year's BCE, which starts on Monday, July 8, 2024, GNEC is urging WAEC to strengthen the monitoring systems to ensure we see a reduced incidence of exam malpractices. Benis Impere Jeche is the national coordinator for GNEC, and she spoke to our sister station, GH1 Television, a while ago.
Release of funds from government prepare adequately for this examination, and then also maybe inadequate monitoring and supervision by WAEC and then the invigilators leads to this examination malpractices. So we continue to engage stakeholders and then urge them to make sure that at least every year we improve on how the exams are conducted, making sure that we reduce all forms of malpractices. We make sure that invigilation and everything go well, and also avoid any form of leakages.
You are asking for strengthening of monitoring and security. Now, what is the causative agent to the incidence of malpractices that we experience? Every year we talk about it, but we still go into the exam and come out with incidents or cases of malpractice.
Yes, so one thing we are looking at is that we've realized that information regarding the examination is limited to the learners alone in the schools. Other stakeholders, community members are not involved on how they can all support for us to monitor the exams properly. For whatever reason, we don't know why. Even teachers themselves help the students to be involved in more practices by solving questions for them.
You heard the Benis Imperi Jeche. She is the national coordinator for the Ghana National Education Campaign Coalition, GNEC. This is still the Starr Midday News on Star 103.5 FM. Let's switch our attention to more reactions that are coming in relation to that earlier proposal by the Chief Justice for additional justices to be appointed to the Supreme Court. Well, former NPP flag bearer aspirant Dr. Arthur Kennedy has described the justification by the Chief Justice Gertrude Araba Sabatokonu to appoint more judges to the Supreme Court as untenable. The Chief Justice has come under a barrage of criticism following her letter to the President proposing the appointment of 5 more judges to the Supreme Court to make the number 20. Now, she explains that the move is to augment the numbers considering the huge workload before the Supreme Court at the moment. While reacting to this, Dr. Arthur Kennedy said the claims of the Supreme Court being inundated with cases might be as a result of the Apex Court taking too many frivolous cases. He spoke on our sister station, GH1 Television.
It tells us about the hubris of our establishment. We are sitting on the deck of the Titanic and moving chairs. We already have 15 Supreme Court justices. That is more than the United States that have 10 times our population. And the judiciary's reputation has taken a hit. He's not running the court well. There are a lot of Supreme Court justices who are unhappy with how she sets panels up without explaining it to anybody, how she changes panels in the middle of cases. I think our judiciary needs major transformation. Our appellate process should be clarified. The formula for picking panels should be clear and not secretive. Panels should not be changed in the middle of cases. So our judiciary have a long road to hoe, and the idea that anybody would think of adding judges now it defies imagination. It just that the person is not attuned to what is happening on our streets.
But her argument is that, well, the Supreme Court is inundated with huge workload, for which reason they need more justices to be able to deal with the issues that come before them.
I read the Constitution on how you pick Supreme Court judges, and it does not say that the justices shall nominate judges for appointment to the Supreme Court.
You heard the former flag bearer aspirant of the governing New Patriotic Party, Dr. Arthur Kennedy, speaking to Joshua Kojo-Mensah earlier on J Today on our sister station GH1 Television. Let's bring you another story attributed to the Chief Justice, Gertrude Araba-Isaba-Tokono. Now, she has underscored the significance of having women parity in the justice delivery system. According to her, women have critical roles in improving justice delivery, which is acknowledged to increase the increase of women representation in the country's judiciary. Well, let's hear from the Chief Justice, Gertrude Araba-Isaba-Tokono, who has been speaking at an event here in Accra.
And although it would seem that it took a very long time coming, Ghana now seems to be heading steadily towards a no-holds-barred journey when it comes to the contribution of women in the administration of law and justice. There's a significantly increasing representation of women in Ghana's judiciary. The past 4 years have seen a very definite shift in the number of judges and magistrates in the judiciary. In 2019, the numbers of women judges stood at 138. This number had increased to more than 100 by the 2022-2023 legal year. In the 2022-2023 legal year, the judiciary recorded a total of 218 females.
You had the Chief Justice, Gertrude Araba-Isaba-Tokono. Let's now bring you sports, and Jones Haji is here with the very latest. Good afternoon to you, Jones. What's in sports?
Good afternoon. So, coach of the Black Stars, Otuado, has been reacting to the 2025 AFCON draw that sees Ghana in Group F with Angola, Sudan, and Niger now. The coach believes that Angola are a good side, but his team can beat them.
Surely we believe in ourselves to qualify in this group, but it's going to be tough. If we begin with Angola, they have a very, very good squad. I think they had a good last AFCON where they went out by 1 goal when they played against Nigeria. They did really, really well in that match. I watched it. They're actually doing good right now, leading their group in the game. So they have a strong squad, and we can't take it easy. It's going to be tough. It's going to be close. But like I said, I have a strong belief that we can succeed against them.
Now, on the possibility of meeting former Black Stars coach Kwesi Appiah, who manages Sudan, Otto acknowledges Appiah's technical abilities and is looking forward to meeting his Sudan team.
Secondly, we have Sudan. Really, really doing well at the moment with Kwesi Appiah. which I know personally. Very good coach. Not a known squad, but like I said, they're doing really, really good at the moment in the World Cup qualification games. Very, very, tough to beat. It's going to be a really, really challenge to beat them, and for this we have to be 100%. But I'm excited to play against them, and like I said, it's going to be tough. It's not easy, but we have a strong team, and we surely can beat them. This is for sure.
Now to the Euros, Jude Bellingham has been handed a one-game ban for his balls gesture during a celebration when he scored for England in the round of 16 game, but the suspension is valid for a year, so Bellingham will be available to play for the English side against Switzerland tomorrow. He has been fined 30,000 pounds, as Jude would serve 1 game suspension. Now, Demiral has been banned for 2 games and is not going to be available for the game versus Netherlands. Now, that'll be all for sports. My name is Jones Aji. Thank you very much.
Thank you. You're learning fast. Thank you very much, Jones, with the very latest in the world of sports. Now, just before we go, something to put a smile on your face on a Friday. Now, what does it take to corner a nation? And more importantly, why? We may not have the answers to these questions, nor find one soon. But in this report, Star News and GH1 TV's Eliklim Aoku takes us through 3 of the numerous scandals single-handedly undertaken by fellow Ghanaians.
Represent to you, Foster Atamensa, a computer scientist. Foster.
Back on great researches around the world, discover great people who are making tomorrow's world.
My name is Ebenezer Smith.
Okay.
I'm from Ketekrachi.
That's where you get your catchy powers.
What do these 3 have in common? Nationwide fraud. Yes, scamming a whole country in this age of social media and digital proliferation.
I've never given such a long introduction to any of the programs we've been hosting here. Nobel, at your age, tell me, how did you do it? What's your story?
I always wanted to develop machines, especially robotics. And my aim was to develop a mechatronics, either Android or humanoid machine robotics or automated reason, what we call artificial intelligence today.
Exactly 10 years ago, fraudster Foster Atamensa hoodwinked the pulse of the nation, GTV, when he told the national television he was the then chairman of African Computer Society and the 4th youngest Ghanaian African scientist to work at NASA. The self-acclaimed Nobel Prize winner in physics lies were soon exposed when netizens and journalists frantically dug to uncover his identity. But just when we thought the dust had settled, several top media personalities and distinguished Ghanaians were left with a PR nightmare when they were awarded fake awards by a non-existent entity, Global Blueprint Excellence Award, led by one Dr. Kwame Owusu-Forjuo.
Back on great researches around the world, discover great people who are making tomorrow's world a better place. And we found one best and great leadership of our landscape, Ghana and Africa, Professor Ebenezer Owusu.
The Dr. UN Awards, as this scandal has come to be known, was revealed to be another fraudulent event on a grand scale after it was reviewed on X, formerly Twitter, by inquisitive users. Mind you, we were supposed to be fighting COVID-19. The ridiculousness of the scam lies in the fact that awardees were actually presented feeding bottles, plates, bowls, and even serving trays, allegedly. The scandal still haunts some recipients who still do not believe how they fell for the lie.
I don't know about any Dr. Forjo in this mix. It's a letter that came.
Okay.
But I should have known later on. And I say, who say? Rubbish.
No.
Years down the line, Nkrumah's Ghana has yet again witnessed another outrageously monumental deception, not from outer space or NASA, nor the United Nations, once headed by the illustrious son of the land, Kofi Annan, but from the kitchen of a certain Smith.
Kedabasi is an inspiration to me.
Okay.
I don't know when any other person submitted the application. But my first application was submitted on June 2nd, 2023.
Okay.
And it was not approved.
But Chef, are you very confident that, I mean, in spite of all the failures, you will sail through?
Very, very confident, and then the Ghanaians should watch out for victory.
Ghanaians should watch out.
Chef Ebenezer Smith began cooking from 1st February to 6th March 2024 with some fanfare at the Amedia Shopping Center at Spintex here in Accra. He claimed to have cooked for 820 hours, although he said he was initially targeting 1,200 hours.
Together we have made history, and I am deeply grateful for being part of this wonderful community, and also believing in the power of hard work and perseverance. I am Millennium Chef Smith, Guinness World Record holder for the longest cooking marathon.
But who knew that in the Guinness World Records fever that gripped the country, a recipe for a fake record was simmering in Chef Smith's pot? We could say he stirred the pot when the Guinness World Records revealed it was not aware of Chef Smith's participation, much more conferring a win. What then does it take to hoodwink a nation? False patriotism and sheer bravado? But the question everybody wants an answer to is why? Why spend time and effort on a seemingly frivolous yet detrimental undertaking? And more importantly, will we fall for the next one? Hopefully not. But like they say, the devil is in the details.
I mean, I am thinking about the years, I think it was in 2009 when we were, falsely alarmed that there was going to be an earthquake or something. And people left their homes and went to stand in open areas, not knowing it was just a scam. So, I mean, there's a possibility we might fall for another scam, but I hope we do not. But on that note, we end today's edition of the Starr Midday News here on Star 103.5 FM. For more news, do log on starfm.com.gh. My name is Naa Dedei Tettey. Have a good afternoon. Bye.